You're listening to the Sports Fix.
Portions of the Sports Fix brought to you by Harry Buffalo. Catch every UFC pay-per-view live in full HD at Harry Buffalo North Olmsted, just outside Great Northern Mall. Harry Buffalo. Join the herd.
Sports Fix listeners, don't wait all day or all week to get in on the fun. The party doesn't stop when we go off the air all week long. The Sports Fix social media sites are your one-stop shop for all things Cleveland sports. Jump over to Facebook.com/TheSportsFix, Facebook.com/TheSportsFix, and become a fan today because we love fans and they create some of the best sports talk in town, Daddy. You'll enjoy talking to your fellow Cleveland sports fans on the Sports Fix fan page. And if Twitter's your thing, well, you know how we do it. Tweet with us at TheSportsFixCLE. It's that simple.
Twitter.com/TheSportsFixCLE, baby.
Chat live with the crew during all your favorite Cleveland sports events, tickets and contests and trivia and so much more. Get with us today, The Sports Fix on social media, Facebook.com/TheSportsFix. Tweet with us at TheSportsFixCLE. Join the Sports Fix on Facebook and Twitter today.
Hey, it's Hugh Hewitt, and when I want to know what's going on with the Cavs, the Browns, and the Tribe, I tune into Sports Fix.
Live in Ohio, it's time to get your fix. The Sports Fix.
Welcome in, everybody. We are live on the air and running here on not only Monday, first edition of the Sports Fix for the week, but for the month. And it's not just the month, it's the final month of the year here, December. On tap and underway and kicking off here on the Sports Fix. I got to tell you, I spent a lot of the last maybe hour and a half getting ready for the show, besides doing the usual behind-the-scenes stuff, figuring out exactly why we're having... No, and I'm going to be really all over the place in this discussion. We'll try to cover all bases and all sides of this as we do, but why we're having the discussion that we're having today when we're having it, you know? I'm just saying, I would much rather expect us to be going this route at 5-7 than 7-5, but so be it. So be it, because there's a lot of people that are going to hoot and holler here in about 30 seconds and say, well, we weren't going to the playoffs. Hey, listen, it's all cool. You can say what you want today on Monday, and who knows where this conversation will go, where this week will go, and where this Browns season will go. But I'm just going to say that a lot of you have forever lost the ability to ever use the phrase to me, I'm tired of looking towards the future. I'm just saying. Let's just throw that phrase out the window, and I'm good as long as I don't have to hear that from a certain percentage of people. That's cool, because I don't mind looking to the future sometimes. So we can do all of this now. Everybody can be happy here now. But we'll talk about that, and we're gonna talk. Listen, I'm being a little hostile here to start things off, only because here's why. Only because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm all about waking up Brian Hoyer. I'm all about throwing in a changeup. I'm all about whatever it takes for this Browns team to win. But I'm just saying that that's also not necessarily all-inclusive with the direction that this thing is going. We're going to talk about all of that here in a moment. And again, to me, it becomes very difficult to do what you did and look you square in the face and say that it's not about getting ready for next year, because it is, and I'm all about that. I'm also all about Mike Pettin, who I've given credit for being very upfront this season. I hope he stands in front of the media on Wednesday. I hope he looks in the camera and says, I have to figure out what we're going to do next year, because that's what we're doing now. That's what we're doing now, amazingly, at 7-5 and one game out of first place. We are getting ready for next year here in Cleveland. So let's do that. Let's get rolling. Of course, I know there's a lot of you that have opinions in both directions of this discussion that we're going to go, and we're going to get into that here on today's show as well. Bad weekend for quarterbacks in general. Bad weekend for quarterbacks in general here. JT Barrett down, gone for the season for the Buckeyes. We're going to talk about that here as well, how that changes the game going forward. Cleveland's Cardale Jones is going to step in now, and he'll try to pick up the Buckeyes ship here heading into the Big Ten championship game. We're going to talk about both quarterback situations. And, I know for the next 2 days we're going to have to talk about a lot of if and whens and could-haves, because it won't be until Wednesday that the Browns will officially decide and let everybody know what they're doing. To me, this is a tale of two things: what you should do and what you will do. Because to me, again, I don't go this route until the season's over. And I'm not saying that that's not a week or two from now, and that's fine with me. But I don't go that route here this week with the final 2 home games coming. But that being said, I don't see how you go back now. That's my thing, and that's why I thought, okay, the minute Mike Pettin opened his mouth after the game, I said, okay, well, this thing has changed, and this season's goal has now changed. This season's goal has completely changed, because it is now all about figuring out whether or not we need to draft Marcus Mariota or some other quarterback next year, and figuring out whether or not Johnny Manziel is what some people think he is, and what many people think. Well, you know what? I'm just saying, very quickly, I mean, let's just see what happens by the end of this season. But this thing could go one way or this thing could go the other way. But I just think it's amazing that it's possible that the Cleveland Browns could at one point have been 7-4 with 2 quarterbacks. And who knows, depending on how the next month goes, they could be 7-9 with no quarterbacks. We'll have to wait and see how this all plays out. And let me tell you that the minute that number 2 becomes the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, I am all about him playing as well as humanly possible. I hope he lives up to every unbelievably overthought expectation, because regardless, what some people think this kid can do and what this kid can actually do are 2 completely different things. But that does become the question on the Browns now at this point. And like I said, I just don't, as much as I would go back and say, okay, here you go, and maybe this'll wake him up, maybe this'll rat. I don't know at this point how you go back to Brian Hoyer. If you're Mike Pettin, I know how I would. Very simple. Brian Hoyer's still my starting quarterback, but it was good to know that if we need to go to a change-up, we've got it. Let's move on and get ready for Indianapolis. But I don't think that's the way the Browns are going to do it. I absolutely do not. I just don't see how they go backwards at this point. I don't see how you do it. But then again, I didn't expect the Browns to hold off the hype in the preseason. I never expected Brian Hoyer, whether he played better or not, I never expected him to be the quarterback at the end of training camp, because I thought the hype was going to win over the reality. And that is eventually what happened here in Cleveland. I mean, this is a function more than anything of asking yourself what if or what's going to happen in the future. But again, it is 7-5, brother. It is the beginning of December, and according to all the people yapping their traps right now, man, some of the comments that I've gotten, these are the same cats that had 2, maybe 3 wins on the schedule for the entire season. But hey, you know what? It's going to be what it's going to be, and for everybody that wants to say, hey, Johnny Football put a touchdown on the board, I will give you that. I'm not even going to throw anything out there. He put one on the board for both teams in the first 2 minutes that he was out there. So that's what it's going to be, and we're going to see what's up. You're absolutely right. Hey, listen, Bruce, I don't think Johnny Manziel's the answer, not just for the Browns. I don't think he's the answer for anybody, because I don't think he's going to be a quality NFL quarterback, my friend. That's all there is to it. And the Browns drafted him. Of course they did, at number 22. He will follow in the footsteps of the next couple of 22s, but I hope he does. Hey, he's our quarterback, brother. Hey, Spurgeon Wynn, I hoped he was a good quarterback too. I'm just joking in that direction. Listen, I hope we have a decent quarterback, because he's going to be the quarterback. He's going to be the guy going forward. But I will say this, say whatever you want. For those of you that did or didn't like Brian Hoyer, enjoy the next 4 weeks with, you're now down even more on the offensive line. And while you could tell me that's a reason to put put Johnny Manziel out there because he can move around, I'll give you that. He better be able to move because the offensive line is going to be down even more. And I'm just curious. I'm very curious, and this is not sarcastic. I want to see how Johnny Manziel handles some of the things that have happened offensively for the Browns the last few weeks. But I'm sure that every receiver will run their routes appropriately, every lineman will block appropriately, and every running back will do their job appropriately now that Johnny Football is in the game. So let's see now. I'm just saying things can go from bad to worse quickly. For those of you that say it can't get worse, I guess you just woke up today at 7-5, and all of a sudden you forgot what it was like. It can't get worse. Well, we'll see, and I sure hope it doesn't, because I will say this: there's a lot of people on this Browns team, especially the defense, the way they played. A lot of people that have put together a quality season and that deserve to have it end in a quality way. And for things to roll downhill at the end would just really put a bad end on the way this season is. But regardless, we're going to find out. We're going to move forward. Again, the next 2 days, it'll be kind of speculating because they will not make any decisions until Wednesday. But like I said, and you know what? I wouldn't put it past Mike Pettin. I'm just going to say this. I wouldn't put it past Mike Pettin to stand in front of people and put Hoyer back out there one more week, because he's done it his way all the way along, and he very well could do it again. He really, you could tell in the tone of his voice that he really, really, really was hoping not to go in this direction. But I just still think that even if he's the lone voice in the room, he is the head coach, but even if he is the lone voice in the room here coming up this week, I just think the reason he went to this, the same voices in the room, the same voices in the decision, it's going down. I mean, there's just no way in all that you can go back. And, again, get ready for it, because I will say this, and I'll say this for those of you who love Johnny Manziel. I'm going to throw this out here that I don't know. Well, again, I don't know how fair this is to your boy there either, because he is also now put into a situation where you think some people would make it sound like he's going to ride the white horse, and there's the problem. That's the problem, that's the expectation, is him riding the white horse. I don't care about Hoyer anymore. I'm going to eliminate him for a second from this. You've also now really done a disservice to him too, because everybody's going to say, I'm just going to be sports talk caller on XYZ radio station. Everybody's going to say generally the same thing. Well, he's had half the season to sit and watch now, so he's not a rookie anymore. He's ready to get out there, and of course you can't do any worse than what we were doing. He's going to ride us to the playoffs, and we're going to ride that arm, and he's going to do. All I'm saying is, if he comes out here in his first game at home, you guys, you could only, by the way, go to that card once. You could only get the energy that comes with the first insertion of Johnny Manziel once. They already got that. You can only get the energy that comes with Johnny Manziel's first start once. They're going to get that. All I'm saying is, what do you do? And I guess this is the question the Browns have to answer, is what do you do if you're sitting at home against the Colts and a season that just a week ago looked so promising, and you have a rookie quarterback who ends up lost. Now, I will say it's a very good opportunity against that defense for him. Colt McCoy sliced that Colts defense up. But let's just say it goes foul. Let's say you have some issues. So as quickly as they turn on one, they can turn on the other. And you can tell me that they won't boo Johnny Football in his first game. But if the offense fails to perform, if the offense does not, and the Browns fans are looking at themselves going, why are we watching our team put a rookie quarterback in at the end of a season that still had life in it? That's a question that the Browns will have to answer. And that was my problem with the timing. You knew this was coming. It was simply a matter of when. It was the matter of when. Whether it weighed out to training camp, whether it weighed out to the bye week, whether it weighed out to next season or a contract extension, no matter what it was, you knew that this was the eventual tipping point of this thing. And I just think, and maybe you guys have the answer. Maybe the Browns will tell you the answer. I don't know. Plain and simple, just the timing of when it's done now puts you in a really tricky situation because Browns fan, I'm just telling you now, I've talked to probably 150, 160 people in the last 24 hours about these things, getting ready for today's show, because I love to talk to people and get people's opinions and know where, not what I'm thinking, what you're thinking, what Steve's thinking, what Joe's thinking, all of them. I want to know all of that. And that's the thing, is that the guys that want Hoyer to stay in as the quarterback want him to stay in because they know that right now they're on the